This is the Little Moments Count radio podcast, created in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. Each episode, you'll hear interviews with early childhood experts on how to support the important brain development that takes place in the first 1,000 days of life, just through little moments every day. Learn more at littlemomentscount.org/podcast.
FM 89.9 KMOJ, yes, looking forward to it. Good afternoon, Walter Q. Bear Banks Jr. got you. And letting you know right about now, it's time for Little Moments Count. Now, let me break it down to you just like this. Little Moments Count is brought to you in part with Little Moments Count and KMOJ in conjunction with each other in the making it happen when it comes to keeping the stories about our youngsters and our youth. So Little Moments Count is a statewide collaborative focusing on helping parents and caregivers learn about the importance of brain development in the first 300 years of one's life. Nearly 80% of the brain growth happens in the first 1,000 days of a small person's moment of interaction when it comes to talking, playing, reading, singing, and the list goes on. And let you know that Little Moments Count, you can lock it in at littlemomentscount.org if you'd like to visit and find out more information. This afternoon, I got none other than Mr. Andre Dukes, and he is the Vice President of Community Power and Impact Programs at North Achievement Zone. But there's a whole plethora list of other things this young man has done and is doing. Good afternoon, Mr. Dukes himself.
Good afternoon, Q-Bear, and good afternoon, Northside.
No
It's
doubt.
So good to be on today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can you give us just a little bit about yourself, even beyond the Northside Achievement Zone?
Well, I wear a few hats in the community. I'm also assistant pastor at Shiloh Temple International Ministries, right on the corner of Fremont and West Broadway. And I do some teaching at the University of Minnesota in the infant mental health program, specifically the infant observation course, which is following a baby for the first full year of their life and just enjoying the development in that first year.
Okay, so now when it comes to the youngsters and their lives themselves, can you give us an insight when it comes to the program itself and screenings, when it comes to some of the things that you do when we're talking about the developmental screening? Because a lot of times it means a lot of different things, and sometimes some parents themselves doesn't know exactly what it's all about.
Absolutely, and there's a little bit of a stigma around screenings, but essentially it's a quick check-in to see how young children are growing and learning compared to what we typically expect for their age. So if they're 0 to 3, there's certain milestones that we look for them to meet, but it isn't a test. It's a diagnosis, and it looks at important areas like communication, movement, problem solving, social emotional development, everyday skills such as feeding and dressing. So one of the things that we really try to lift up at Little Moments Count is that we often say every interaction counts. And it helps to build the brain. It helps with screening and to make sure that our children are on track developmentally. And so at NAS, we encourage families to think of development screening as another tool that helps parents understand their children's strengths, celebrate progress, and identify any areas where a little extra support might help children thrive. And that's really what it's all about. We want our children to thrive. And when you catch things early, the brain is malleable, so we can do something about it. We can help our children be successful.
So now when we're looking at a youngster themselves and from the age of 5 and under or close to in between, and we're talking about, seeing a pediatrician, how is it or what is it that are some of the signs and symptoms that let you know that you need to look into that developmental area when it comes to the screening?
Yeah, I mean, if a screening identifies a possible delay, that's just the beginning of, what we can understand about what our children need in terms of support. So families may receive more complete evaluation. And if services are appropriate, they can access early intervention support such as, speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, or, developmental coaching. These are really services that are designed to work with families in everyday routines so children learn through play and daily interactions. And so it's nothing to, be afraid of or to feel like it is something that you can't overcome with your children or your child may not be able to overcome. But, things like, speech delays and those kinds of things, if we give our children the right supports, they can really thrive even with those, delays.
Now, we're looking at giving them that right support and being in a good support system itself. And then looking at your tutelage of being around youngsters and youth and doing that aspect of it, what are some of the signs or symptoms that some parents may say, well, maybe I think I need to get them to get around Brother Dukes?
Yeah, right. So I think, what's most important is that we understand that children develop at their own pace. Not every child is going to develop at the same time or in the same way. But if your child isn't meeting milestones like making eye contact, responding to their name, speaking words, walking, playing, or other things like that, then, it may be time to take them to have a pediatrician, just examine them and see, if there are things that we can address. But you don't have to wait until something feels serious. Just trust your instincts. Really, we encourage families to pay attention to those everyday moments because they tell us so much about our children's development. And at NAS, we want parents to know that asking questions is a sign of strength and not failure. So don't be afraid to ask the question. The early concerns are addressed, the more opportunities children have to grow and succeed.
So now if someone would like to get in more contact with you or the program itself or NAS as well, is there a number? What do you have in order for someone to get into contact to find out more information?
Absolutely. They can email me at adukes, A as in Apple, DUKES at the-naz.org. Or you can go to our website at www.the-naz.org to find out more information.
No doubt, no doubt. And if by chance I missed a question or two, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I just think that, as we are now close to school starting again, this is a great time to really engage our children with talking, reading, singing, and playing. That is the easiest way we can help them be prepared for school. And also counting and using your environment to really be a learning place for your children. Everything in the environment is a teaching tool for you as a parent to teach your children and prepare them for school.
No doubt, no doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we got none other than Mr. Andre Dukes and a brother to get to know because once you get to know him and you talk to him, your life comes a little bit easier because he helps you through that path. And I want to say thank you very much for helping me as well, all right?
I appreciate you so much, Q-Bear. Thank you so much.
No doubt, no doubt. It's FM 89.9 KMOJ, letting you know that if you'd like to get more information about Little Moments Count, you can go to littlemomentscount.org/podcast. Or you can go to KMOJ's website as well. And then even beyond that, littlemomentscount.org. It's FM 89.9 KMOJ, no question about it. It's the People's Station.
Thanks for listening to the Little Moments Count radio podcast in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. You can find the Little Moments Count radio podcast wherever you get your podcasts and at littlemomentscount.org/podcast.